Vladimir Putin's 2025 winter offensive was designed to crush Ukraine with thousands of armored vehicles and millions of troops. Instead, those assets are sitting completely paralyzed. The Kremlin's military machine is currently bogged down in the mud, systematically hunted by small FPV drones, first-person view aircraft where pilots steer using live video goggles to deliver explosives directly to their targets. The Russian plan was highly specific. They intended to push through the southern front, lock down the gates of Zaporizhzhia, and secure Europe's largest nuclear power plant to use as the ultimate geopolitical bargaining chip. The Ukrainian military responded with a doctrine known as active defense. Special intelligence units affiliated with the HER, Ukraine's main directorate of intelligence, mapped out the Russian supply lines. They found the fuel convoys, ammunition depots, and systematically blew them up before a single shell could reach the zero line. The breaking point arrived when frontline Starlink satellite connections went down in February. Russian units were entirely cut off from their command structures. Without communication, the lines descended into chaos, with multiple Russian brigades opening fire on their own positions. Without fuel, ammunition, or basic radio contact, a massive army cannot attack. The Kremlin's overwhelming numerical advantage became a massive liability. Millions of unsupplied soldiers were stranded in a strategic vacuum, stalling the offensive before its primary objectives were met. By March 7th, Ukrainian military intelligence made it official. The Russian southern offensive was dead. On that single defense line, the Ukrainian Timora Special Forces unit eliminated over 300 attacking troops and captured dozens more in a matter of weeks. This map shows territorial control on the Zaporizhzhia front. Watch how the front line actually moves backward for the attacking army. Ukraine returned 460 square kilometers of territory to its control right during Putin's winter push. Russian state television broadcasts images of a sterile, high-tech operation executed with long-range smart missiles. The leaked footage from the trenches near Stenohirsk tells a much grimmer story. Soldiers there are fighting meter by meter in muddy, close-quarters combat that looks remarkably like World War I. Unable to break through, Moscow panicked. Russian command pulled elite units away from Pokrovsk and rushed them south. By moving these reserves, the Kremlin quietly abandoned its primary goal of capturing the entire Donbass region. By holding their ground in the south, Ukrainian infantry forced a massive redeployment. They crippled Russian strategy hundreds of kilometers away from the actual firefights. To understand why these redeployments failed, we can look at the 40th Marine Infantry Brigade. When they launched a fresh, mechanized assault near Huliaipol, they were immediately spotted by a specialized Ukrainian unmanned systems unit known as the Hungarian Birds. The armored column was dismantled before it could even deploy its infantry. Nearby, the Phoenix unit systematically dismantled the logistics chain. They used precision drops to eliminate supply trucks, shelters, and small utility vehicles like the UAZ-469. Russian offense failed to protect supply routes. Ukrainian pilots infiltrated airspace to strike billion-dollar systems like the S-300V long-range platform. They also hit the Pantsir S-1. Despite its sophisticated radar, this mobile short-range system repeatedly failed to intercept incoming Ukrainian attacks. The weapons slipping past those radars were domestically produced Ukrainian missiles. Carrying warheads weighing up to 100 kilograms, they struck with pinpoint accuracy deep in the Russian rear. An army without local air defense cannot protect its mechanized infantry. Pushing heavy armor forward under these conditions guarantees the destruction of the convoy. This vulnerability extends far beyond the immediate front lines. Consider the March 7th strike on the Russian drone facility at the Donetsk International Airport. Ukraine coordinated a devastating hit using ATACMS and Scalp missiles. That facility housed thousands of Iranian-made Shahed kamikaze drones. Turning those weapons to ash inside their own warehouses completely neutralized a major component of Russia's strategic air power before a single drone could launch. Further north, the Ukrainian Air Force achieved a major engineering feat. They integrated American GBU-62 precision-guided smart bombs onto their older Soviet-era MiG-29 fighter jets, successfully flying them into position to level a Russian military base in Radinska. Russian commanders at assembly centers and logistics hubs are watching these Western-made munitions bypass their tracking systems entirely, powerless to intercept the incoming payloads. Modern warfare relies on strategic depth. the idea that the rear lines are safe enough to organize, heal, and resupply. For the Russian army in Ukraine, that safety no longer exists. This data visualization shows the current rate of exhaustion for the Russian military. They are advancing at a crawl of just 15 to 70 meters a day. Against that minimal progress, they are losing 52,000 soldiers a month. To put it clearly, exactly 104 Russian soldiers die for every single square kilometer captured. Total Russian casualties have now reached 1.2 million. The institutional strain is severe, with military records indicating that over 200,000 soldiers have deserted or gone AWOL. This is a massive organizational collapse, and it directly damages Vladimir Putin's invincible persona at home. Russian military bloggers are loudly criticizing the command structure and the quiet fear of another armed mutiny, much like the 2023 uprising, is circulating in the Kremlin once again. The domestic cost of this invasion is mounting rapidly. Within Russia, inflation is climbing, severe labor shortages are stalling industrial output, and international sanctions have effectively cut the country off from modern technology, dragging it toward a third-rate economy. The 2025 winter offensive failed to secure its geopolitical targets. Instead, the operation traded the lives of an entire generation for a few muddy trenches, leaving the Russian military and its economy fractured on the global stage.